predicted, that's projected. Plus, 3 Sunday favorites on the verge of getting beat. That's called an upset alert. This is called NFL Total Access. All right, how's that turkey hangover coming along? Welcome into NFL Total Access. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz. Don't worry, we'll help you take care of those leftovers and prepare a full course of Week 12 matchups for you. Michael Robinson, David Carr, and Cynthia Freeland are with me tonight. We'll talk Kyler or Cam, which QB style will be more effective when they face off on Sunday. Cynthia explains why the Bears-Packers game will be a higher scoring affair than you may think. And a lot has changed, of course, in the last 24 hours. So we'll start with the latest news on the Ravens and Steelers. For that, we bring in our Tom Pelissero. Tom, the Ravens-Steelers game now scheduled for Tuesday. Ultimately, what led to this game being moved once again?
Well, MJ, with the Ravens continuing to have positive COVID-19 tests pop up, the NFL and its medical experts wanted to buy a little bit more time to make sure the virus had run its course before the Ravens get onto a plane. There was additional contact tracing performed this morning after 4 more Ravens players, including Lamar Jackson, tested positive on Thursday. After that, a small group of league officials got together early this afternoon, and at that point, the decision was made to push back this game an additional 2 days. Now, a potential good sign within the past few minutes here, I have been told only 1 Ravens player, practice squad guard Will Holden, tested positive in today's round of COVID-19 testing. That could be an indicator that the virus is abating. There's also some additional schedule shuffling based upon this Steelers-Ravens game being pushed back until Tuesday night. The Ravens also were supposed to play the Cowboys on Thursday. That game has now been sent all the way back to next Monday, December 7th. And that timeline, MJ, means Lamar Jackson has a chance to be back in uniform when they face Dallas.
All right, time. So we've talked rescheduling, if you will, but let's talk injuries as well. Who's in and who's out for this week?
Let's start with Falcons running back Todd Gurley. He is out because of a knee injury against the Raiders. Certainly a significant loss for Atlanta. Expect a lot of Brian Hill there. Panthers quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, he is in. Will start for the Panthers against his old team, the Vikings, after sitting out last week with a knee. Bears quarterback Mitch Trubisky, he also returns to the lineup, cleared after his shoulder injury. Nick Foles still battling a hip and a glute. It will be Trubisky Sunday night against the Packers. And Jets quarterback Sam Darnold, also back from his shoulder injury. He gets the start against the Dolphins, MJ.
All right, Tom, as always, a lot to keep track of. We'll keep monitoring that injury report ahead of Sunday. And we're also going to be gearing up for the Chiefs and the Bucs. My friends, that is our Total Access Game of the Week.
It's the Chiefs again against the Raiders. Why not? Mahomes to Kelsey.
Snap to Brady, close toward the end zone. Off ball, Mike Evans.
Cut back left, run it, goes to Edwards-Helaire. CEH with TD1.
Go out to the end zone. Gronkowski with a touchdown. And that New England combination now in Buccaneer pewter and red.
Near side, Tyreek Hill catches the ball at the 5. Touchdown, Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is carrying him off the field.
A quick reminder for all you at home at how Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady compare this 2020 season. Mahomes and the Chiefs 9-1, of course. Brady and the Bucs at 7-4. Mahomes has the higher completion percentage and passer rating and has thrown more pass yards per game as well. Here's Tom Brady on his deep ball struggles this season.
Not executing at the highest level, so I don't think it's more than that. I think we didn't execute on some short throws. We didn't execute on some medium throws. Just comes down to not as good execution as I think we're capable. So we're working harder to improve it, and we'll go out there and try to do a much better job this week. Our job is to get the job done, so there's no excuses for when we don't get it done. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the reality of the sport. It's a production-based business, and when you have opportunities like we had in those 2 games, it's very disappointing when you don't, especially when you're the quarterback and the ball's in your hands. So it's something I got to do a better job of.
Okay, David Carr and M are with me now. Guys, acknowledgement. They need execution now to follow that up. David, I'm going to start with you. What are 3 things that the Bucs need to do to upset the Chiefs?
Well, right off the bat, MJ, we'll just jump right into this. You have to be disciplined on defense because Kansas City presents so many issues from a vertical passing standpoint, but also horizontally. They'll move Tyreek Hill horizontally. They'll get the backs out in the flats. Patrick Mahomes can step up and run, and then you get guys out of positions like you saw there, and you can end up having some big plays. You got to be disciplined. Devin White, young guy, secondary, some young guys back there. Make sure you're communicating the entire game because it only takes one of these to lose it for you. Number two, you got to run the football and keep that guy off the field. Pat Mahomes, if he has limited possessions, then he can't score as many points. So you have Ronald Jones, you get him going. Interior offensive line has to get going. They have to get some push. There's some good players in there for Kansas City, but if they can control the clock, get it out there quick in the perimeter, but mostly run the football, keeping them on the sideline. And then my last point, and it's a huge one, and Brady just talked about it. You can't be 0 for your last 19 throwing the football down the field. You can't lead the league in bad off-target throws, but with 83 of them that haven't even been catchable, so they really have to step on the gas as far as throws down the field. Look at the last team that has beaten the Chiefs in the last year. It was the Raiders. The Raiders, what did they do? They hit big plays down the field in that first game, and that's what the Bucs are going to have to do if they think they're going to hang with these guys. Yes, run the football. Yes, control the clock, but you got to hit a couple big plays to hang with the Chiefs.
David, I love what you're saying right there, running the football to kind of control the tempo, to kind of keep Patrick Mahomes off the football field and control this guy by the name of Chris Jones, who's sitting in the middle of that Kansas City defense. Not only is he a run stuffer, not only can he make plays splitting the double team in the running game, but in the passing game, he literally rushes the guards like a defensive end. And this is what makes this kid so special. He's super explosive off the line of scrimmage. Look how he splits this team, this double team right here. Usually, the first guy in a in tackle stunt is trying to free up the inside looper. This time, Chris Jones gets through and he forces chaos in the backfield. And here's again a couple of weeks ago, going up against a guard. This time, he's going to get the offensive center to slide to his side. Oftentimes, guys like Chris Jones and Aaron Donald, they get the center to slide to him. And not only does Chris Jones beat the center, but he gets the sack and takes the quarterback down to the ground. Every time that you see Tom Brady not hitting on these long passes, oftentimes it's because he's getting pressure up the middle. He's been hit 57 times this year through 11 games. That cannot happen if Tampa Bay wants to be successful pushing the ball down the football field.
And Rob, that's why it's so important that you highlight these things and you go into these play breakdowns, because it sounds simple enough, David, to keep them off the field, to keep Patrick Mahomes off. Very much a difficult thing to do. Okay, guys, let's pick this game, though. Rob, who do you got in this one?
Yeah, I think it's too much Kansas City. I got Kansas City Chiefs winning 30-21. I think it's too much Chris Jones. I'm not sure if Tampa Bay understands their identity. I think their offensive line is built to run the football, but they got all these shiny toys on the outside, so they try to push the ball down the football field. I just don't see them having success against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I see him, Rob, and I'll actually go one step further. I think this is an absolute boat race. I think it's 42-21. Kansas City Chiefs just way too much. Young defensive secondary, young linebacking core. They make too many mistakes. And then I'm just going based on the film, brother. Those guys are legit, and they are back, and they're not going anywhere.
I agree completely with you guys.
Tom,
this is one of those games.
Not me.
Not tough to pick. I also have the Chiefs 37-27 in the end. You guys have said it all. I just can't see anyone taking them down at this point. Certainly not the Bucs the way they've been playing the last few games. All right, guys, thank you. I want to take you to a look at the AFC playoff picture. We have a divisional matchup in the AFC South, of course, the Titans and the Colts. Whichever team wins that game, they get sole possession of the top spot in that division. So, gentlemen, how do we see this playing out? Rob, I'm going to start with you here because I want to know how the Colts' run defense is going to stack up against Derrick Henry, who, by the way, put up over 100 yards against them back in Week 10.
Yeah, he did put up 100 yards a couple of weeks ago on 19 carries. And if you really look at the film, and if I'm the Tennessee Titans offensive staff, I'll run him a lot more because there were some holes there. And what the Indianapolis Colts defense they did a lot of line stunts, and Darius Leonard was all over the football field. He led the team with 9 tackles, but he has to get more of this. It has to be more of Darius Leonard tackling this big Derrick Henry before he gets going downhill, because once Derrick Henry puts his foot in the ground and gets going downhill, it's almost curtains for the second level of a defense because he gets a head of steam, and you don't really want to stand in front of this guy when he has a head of steam. You know what? You know another thing that can stop Derrick Henry, though, guys? Phillip Rivers. And I know y'all are wondering, Phillip Rivers don't play no defense. How you going to stand in front of Derrick Henry? No, because you score points offensively with the Indianapolis Colts, push the envelope even more, and force Ryan Tannehill to throw the football. That's another way that you stop Derrick Henry from having a great effect on this game.
Yeah, it's a great point. You take them out of one-dimensional football where they can just pound it and make them throw the ball a little bit. And I think the other point that you brought up was great because when you watch that film, like you said, they should run the football more. They should give it to Derrick Henry more. And what does that do if you're the Colts? You're going to be forced to, because you couldn't hang with those guys. Quite honestly, I mean, if they want to come in here and run the ball 25 or 30 times, it's going to be a long day. So you got to move up, crowd the box. It's going to be one-on-ones on the outside. And who does that lean to? Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown has been playing fantastic football the last couple weeks and really the last month and a half. So if you're going to go one-on-one situation because you feel like you got to maybe put an extra guy down there, he's going to make a ton of plays. And Ryan Tannehill has been doing just enough. It's exactly what he has to do when you get one-on-one situations, make good decisions, get the ball out of your hand and be accurate. He's done that. He has a stud in A.J. Brown to get it to. So if it goes to them, if it goes to that type of game, it's all going to be on Ryan Tannehill's shoulder to win this thing.
You know, last week when we were talking about the Colts game, we were talking about how sneaky they've been this season. Well, we got a little insight from Indianapolis later on in the show with Jonathan Taylor will join us. He talks about his hot start as a rookie and what he draws from King Henry, by the way, who's going up on the other side of the field. But first, I want to do some more game picks, you guys. Let's take a look at what our standings are looking like. You know, I love to take a look at this board. But look, you guys are really catching up on me. I'm still in first place, 104 wins to 49. David Carr in second, 153.
I see you, David.
Right behind him, Emrob with 99. Okay, let's pick this Titans-Colts game. David, I believe they want you to go first. Is that correct, guys?
Whatever you want, okay? I'm over the 100 mark, so I'm completely happy doing that. So I'm going to say it's 27-24. I'm going to go with the Titans. Derrick Henry's going to be too much, and Ryan Tannehill, if he has to, will make one more play.
David, I agree with you, brother. I have the Tennessee Titans 23-17. Just to your point, I think they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They saw the same tape we all saw. Derrick Henry had some lanes, but I think what's going to break their back is just a tear screen out to A.J. Brown, and he's going to hit it for 60, and that's going to be the game winner. I got the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, I have the Titans as well. My score a little closer maybe than people would expect, 31-27. I do think it's going to be a battle up there. All right, let's pick another one here because Taysom Hill looked really good last week against the Falcons. Will he be back to winning things again, David, this week against the Broncos?
Yeah, I think you will. I think that the Broncos are going to put up a good fight, but I think Taysom's too much because he can do stuff on the ground. He's obviously has some experience in this system. I'm going to say 30-27. Saints find a way to win this game.
I agree with you, David. I have the Saints winning 28-20. And not only does Taysom Hill have a great game, I got a lock later on in the show. I'll tell you guys something about Taysom Hill. But Sean Payton, man, is there a better offensive play caller to scheme and leverage a defense with no matter who the quarterback is? I like Sean Payton in the New Orleans Saints.
You know how everyone was like, oh, it's going to be Jameis for sure. Taysom Hill does do many things. He's a jack of all trades. And Sean Payton was ready for it. He's like, just watch what my QB can do. I also have the Saints 28-20 winning this one. I think we'll see even more from Taysom Hill this year. Guys, we have a lot more game tips coming up later on in the show. Fridays around here, we take our job very seriously. And that job is to separate what is supposed to happen from what will. That goes for an overall matchup like the Steelers and Ravens, Packers and Bears, Cardinals and Pats. It doesn't just matter who wins, it also matters how. High scoring or low scoring, close game or a blowout. We got to. And that goes for individual players too. With fantasy playoffs around the corner, it's not your curiosity on the line, it's your reputation. And again, we got you. With game picks, score predictions, stat projections, 3 upsets, 3 locks, and 1 place to get them all. NFL Total Access, just getting started.
NFL Total.
On a show last week, sacking the Falcons 8 times. The New Orleans D had nothing to be sorry about, and neither did these defenders. In today's No Apologies, presented by Proper Number 12.
Whoa! He hit him so hard and so clean.
A.J. White sack
Donald is having a feast.
Ramsey jolted him.
Wow. Ball comes out. It's recovered by Chuck Clark along the near sideline. Cardinals, Phillip Rivers. Touchdown, Ravens. Back to throw. Gets hit. It's a fumble. The ball's on the ground. It's Van Ginkel going to the end zone.
Sacked on the play by Khalil Mack.
Then he just kind of ragdolled the offensive lineman.
It's picked off by J.J. Rock and roll. One pick six. That's an INT.
They cut it on his butt cheek and his back.
They've got an interception. It's Spillane with the pick six.
Smile, it's the NFC playoff picture. Now, this NFC West division, remember, has been intense all season long. The Cardinals, they now need a win this Sunday in order to stay in this fight. But we also have to watch what happens with the Seahawks and the Rams this week. They both have very winnable games. So this one, another nail biter as we go into the real Mike Robb report. Before that, though, the Cardinals, they're headed off to their game. They posted this on Twitter. We're off. QB1 is ready to go on their way to New England to take off the Patriots. So, Mike Robb report in full effect. Listen, Mike Robb, Kyler Murray has been dealing with a shoulder. He was off the Cardinals injury report today. Good to go for Sunday against Cam Newton and the Patriots. It'll be a showdown between those two #1 overall picks who've won the Heisman and have been known for plays that they can make with their leg. Whose running style will be more effective, Robb?
So you're going to ask me whose running style is going to be more effective after you talk about Kyler Murray getting off the injury report. Huh? I see what you're doing right there, MJ. Great job. So you already know I love both of these guys. But when you talk about effective, right? So what's effective? Some people think effective running style is more yards. I'm going to go with who scores more touchdowns or who gets more first downs in certain situational football. And I'm going to go with Cam Newton. Cam Newton's been playing out of his mind over the last couple of weeks. They're, 2-1 over the last few weeks or whatever the case may be. But they use him like another running back on the goal line. It's true 11-on-11 football. So I think Cam Newton will score a couple of touchdowns in this game. I think he'll have a few first downs in this game to move the chains and have explosive passes off of that. Now, when you look at Kyler Murray, he's more of a scrambler, more of a guy who can accelerate and get out of sticky situations. But he took a hit last week. You see what I'm saying? You just talked about him getting off the injury report. I'm very interested in seeing how quick he's going to take off this week. I mean, the New England Patriots, they do a great job of making you play with your left hand. Bill Belichick understands that this kid likes to scramble. So I'm assuming he's telling his defense to hit him if they get a chance to. So that's definitely what I'm going to be watching. But in this matchup, I think Cam Newton has the advantage just because of the design quarterback runs in situational football, MJ.
You know, Robb, I love that you brought up Belichick because what is one of the things he's known for is eliminating his opposing team's most dangerous threat. So, that eye on what they might do against Kyler, very important there. All right, Robb, thank you. Let's get to game theory with Cynthia Freeland. We're going to break down some potential stats this weekend. Cynthia, tell me if we should run or pass on the following. So first up, Josh Allen will throw for 286 yards, very specific. Run or pass on that?
So I'm going to pass on this one, not because I don't think he's going to have a good game, but because of his ability to run and the team's ability to run. The opportunity against the Chargers, they want the W. And what happens in my model is that they get off to a strong lead, which means they're not going to need to pass in the second half as often. So it's not going to be 286 yards. It's going to be like 270 something. It's still going to be good, just not 286.
All right, 270 and change. We can work with that. Josh Jacobs, is he running? Are you running with him getting 70 rushing yards this week?
Oh, I'm definitely running with him doing that. But this could be like a first half or third quarter situation to have at least 70 rush yards against the Falcons. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to jump off to a high-scoring game. And actually, the difference maker in this one is how efficiently Josh Jacobs will be able to run. So those 3, 4, 5, 6 yards per clip, that's going to be a big, important factor in making sure that the Raiders win this game.
Ooh, his runs after catch, too. All right, finally, Justin Jefferson, run or pass on 76 receiving yards, Cynthia.
Okay, I'm going to pass on this one, but let me be clear, he's going to get in the end zone. I think that's a great opportunity. Without Adam Thielen, I think that opportunity is going to be more about mixing things around a little bit. A lot more Dalvin Cook, a lot more maybe shorter passes to tight ends. I still think Justin Jefferson will have a monster game. Don't be mad at me, fantasy players, just maybe a little bit less than 76 receiving yards, like 65 and a touchdown. How about that?
They can't be mad at you. You're giving them a heads up, Cynthia. All right. Thank you so much. We will see you later for some higher or lower scores. And everyone at home, you can have a say in this year's Pro Bowl vote presented by Verizon. The Pro Bowl may look different this year, but the best players will still be recognized. Show your love, cast your vote, and make sure your favorite players still earn their place on the 2021 Pro Bowl roster. Vote today at NFL.com/Pro Bowl. All right, now time for the bucket list presented by KFC. If you guys need a few notable matchups to highlight, there you go. We're watching Derrick Henry versus the Colts defense, Mahomes versus Brady, of course, and Khalil Mack versus Aaron Rodgers. And Rob and David, you're going to get a little deeper into all of these matchups. And what else you're looking at this weekend, guys?
David Carr, what's going on, big dog? What matchup you looking at this week?
So a lot of times we talk about players, but I'm going to look at it more from a schematic standpoint. And I think the Taysom Hill thing is fascinating. I think Sean Payton, we both really like Sean Payton, what he's doing there. But I think Vic Fangio is also a guy that can schematically take away some things. So, now Taysom's played a little bit, played a full game. You got some film on him. I think Vic Fangio and Sean Payton, that matchup and how they the chess pieces, how they move those guys around is going to be really interesting to watch this week. So I'm definitely going to pay attention to that game.
David, it's interesting, bro. I didn't even think about this matchup. You're right, man. From an X's and O's standpoint,
yeah.
I mean, you can almost say Vic Fangio's defense got Tua benched last week. I mean, you can almost say that when you look at the tape. Yeah. But the matchup I'm looking at, I'm gonna be looking at this heavyweight matchup right out there with the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. Okay, the receptions yards leader against the reigning defensive player of the year. I'm talking about DeAndre Hopkins going up against Stephon Gilmore. It's only the second time, David, in NFL history that type of matchup has happened. But the reason why I like this matchup is because, honestly, when you just look at it on paper, there's no clear advantage, right? It's not like when Stephon Gilmore went up against DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf runs a 4.2, 4.3. He's huge. You can see the physical differences. When you look at DeAndre Hopkins, yeah, he's taller, but from a speed standpoint, these guys are very, very much similar. So I'm excited to see this matchup. Stephon Gilmore has an interception already in the previous matchup, so I know DeAndre Hopkins and a new team is going to be looking to show Stephon Gilmore exactly what it's all about.
Great
so that's the matchup I'm going to be looking for. MJ, we're going to toss it back over to you.
All right, guys, and after the break, we're talking Steelers and Ravens. That game was pushed from Thursday to Tuesday. How can Baltimore push Pittsburgh to a first loss without number 8? We're also talking Titans and Colts with a special guest, Indy's number 28, Jonathan Taylor. That's next. In case you missed it amid all the Thanksgiving sides, here's a look back at what happened in the Thursday games. Texans at Lions. Detroit was not trying to get shut out again. They did manage to avoid that part, though. First quarter, Lions ball leading 7-zip. First and 10, Matthew Stafford goes for it, but gets intercepted by J.J. Watt. Takes it 19 yards for the score. J.J. saying, were y'all sleeping on me this year? Happy Thanksgiving to you then. Fourth quarter, Texans ball leading 34-17. Trickery time. Deshaun Watson hands it off to Duke Johnson. Right back to Deshaun, who finds a wide open Will Fuller. Easy sprint for him for the 34-yard touchdown. Texans win at 41-25. Watson wraps it up with 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. Washington at Dallas. Alex Smith got his first win as a starter in 742 days last week versus the Bengals. Fourth quarter, Washington leading 27-16, 3rd and 6. You know what? Antonio Gibson will take it from here. Goes up the middle, 37 yards for the touchdown. That was his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day, by the way. Woo! So we go to the first play of the next Cowboys possession. Dallas trailing 34-16, 1st and 10. Andy Dalton trying to go for Zeke. Nope. He got intercepted by Montez Sweat instead. Sweat takes it 15 yards for the score. Washington wins 41-16. They improve to 4-7 and move into first place in the NFC East heading into Sunday. As for the big news of the day, the Ravens-Steelers game has been postponed to Tuesday. The game will be played at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC. John Harbaugh released a statement earlier saying the Ravens have a plan in place and they look forward to facing the Steelers on Tuesday night. Steelers rookie wide receiver Chase Claypool, he responded to the news on Twitter posting Sunday. Okay, Tuesday then. I know, a little confusing, but that seems to be the plan ahead. David Carr joins me now. And listen, David, he's coming in here. It's a little far from me today, but he is very much present. David, on the other side of Chase Claypool, on the other side of the field will be RG3. Can a Robert Griffin-led offense be able to stack up against the undefeated Steelers?
Well, I mean, not many people have been able to do that at all with a, starting quarterback. So Robert coming in here, it's a difficult task. It's not something that you would wish on any backup quarterback. But I think Robert's probably excited about the opportunity to get a chance to go out there. You obviously don't have Lamar Jackson, so you're not going to be as dynamic in the run game. So what you can do is maybe you have an opportunity here, Greg Roman, to change up what you do a little bit and maybe throw some wrinkles in that maybe Pittsburgh hasn't seen this year. And then you go out there and you can maybe jump out to a little bit of a lead or at least get some momentum early and then see if you can hang on to that. But Robert has played a lot of football in this league, so he understands the game. Now, is he as dynamic as Lamar? No. But I think that he can definitely give him the chance. And I know, being this situation before, you go from a starter to a backup and you sit there and you wait for your opportunity. And Robert Griffin, I promise you, has been waiting for this opportunity. He doesn't care they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wants to go out and play his best football. I'm excited to watch him try.
And David, if you or anyone at home is thinking, man, it's been a minute since I've seen RG3, well, he's only started in one game since 2017. It was last season, actually, week 17 against Pickford. They won, by the way, but RG3 had only 96 passing yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. He did add 50 rush yards, though, in that one. So let's see what he can do this week with all these challenges. David, thanks. And I have a close eye on this Titans-Colts divisional matchup that's coming up, and for good reason. When it comes to the most season sweeps of divisional rivals, the Colts have 11 versus the Titans. That goes back to 2002. So in order to make it a 12th sweep, the Colts will be relying heavily on this rookie who I spoke with earlier this week. And a big welcome into Colts rookie running back Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan, I already told you, we've been saying your name a lot this week, which is always a good sign. Impressive start to not just the season, to your career, really. Next man up after Marlon Mack went down there. What do you attribute, really, to such a great start for you?
Really, I think it's Marlon. He's a guy, I mean, I was coming in expecting to be able to learn from him. And not only did I learn from him, but I was expecting to be able to come in and watch him operate, how he operates throughout the season. Unfortunately, I mean, it just sucks, the nature of the game when he went down. But throughout these several weeks, I mean, he's been in my ear. He's been giving me words of encouragement, when things haven't been going my way. He's been giving me praise when things have been going well. So I think I just really attribute it not only to Marlon, though, the entire running back group for being able to help guide me, especially through these unprecedented times when you're learning a lot of things on the fly.
I love that you're staying humble, attributing it to other people, but I'm going to toot your own horn here because especially for a rookie coming into the league in a year like this where the offseason was so strange, I mean, you have to give yourself props for what you have done so far. All right, let's talk your QB because a veteran guy like Phillip Rivers, how has he helped you develop?
Tremendously. I mean, there are times when he's just giving me bits and pieces of knowledge of understanding, hey, if you see the defense do this, most likely they're in this coverage or they're planning on doing this. And even there are times when he's not talking to me, maybe speaking to a receiver or the OC, I kind of like to bend my ear because you never know what he's talking to them about, and it could be something that could help you. I mean, he's played 17 years in this league, so there's pretty much not any kind of scheme or defensive front he hasn't seen before. So anything that comes out of his mouth is worth taking note.
Absolutely. He has a wealth of knowledge for you there, no question. Okay, so this week, second game against the Titans. First place on the line. I'm sure I don't need to remind you there, but what's the difficulty in facing a team that you just beat just 2 weeks later?
I mean, we always talk about it. I mean, even when I was in college, it's hard to beat a team twice. But one of the biggest things that we preach here is the bigger the game, the smaller your world. So the smaller the details you have to pay attention to. Everything has to be down to a T when you're facing a team twice, especially after you beat a team already. So they're going to come in prepared on things that we beat them with the last time we played them. So we're going to have to come up with new schemes, and they're also going to add in a little bit of something different that we haven't seen the last time we played them. So you got to be prepared to make adjustments. So just the bigger the game, the smaller your world.
I don't know if I'm doing the most with this question, but I'm going to pose it to you anyway. Any added motivation to perhaps outrush Derrick Henry on the other side?
I mean, that would be great. I mean, he is a top running back in this league, and that's something that every young back coming into this league wants to be. They want to be one of the top backs in this league. So, I mean, if that happens, I mean, that would be tremendous. And that is something that, you kind of put in the back of your mind of understanding that every single carry, your team is expecting you to, produce and make plays, such as Derrick Henry does for his team. So that's pretty much my mindset, every time I touch the ball.
Jonathan, you have been such a spark, so exciting to watch as one of the new faces of the NFL. Two things you can't teach, that X factor out on the field and how to give a great interview. Jonathan, thank you and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Let's give out some fantasy advice presented by FedEx. So here's who Adam Rank thinks you need to start and sit. We'll start with the starts. He said, go ahead and start Derek Carr, James Robinson, and Evan Ingram. But here's who you need to put on the bench this week. He says you got to sit Carson Wentz, Leonard Fournette, and Corey Davis. Interesting indeed. Okay, everyone. When used as a verb, the word upset means to make someone unhappy, disappointed, or worried. And look, Emrob and David, I don't want to do that to anyone, but it's sort of part of the gig sometimes. At the very least, we're letting you know today that you may be a little unhappy on Sunday. So think of it as a friendly warning. It's called Upset Alert for 3 NFL teams, and it's next.
Bro, we make plays and we dominate all night long. All night. Playmakers on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Whoop their ass on 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoop their ass. Hey, them first 2 drives were a fluke. They're going to play hard now, so let's go. All right, come on.
Take it personal, baby. Let's go.
Brown makes the catch at the 10, spinning, driving his way into the end zone. Wow! How did he do it?
On the point and touchdown. Double job.
Great protection, man. Let's go.
Aguilar's got it. Touchdown. Steps up into the pocket. He throws it late for the end zone. Kelsey wide open. Touchdown. Kansas City.
Hey, way to play.
Way to finish.
My favorite part of the week. It is time for, guys,
Upset alert.
yes, upset alert time. All right, Emrob and David, you know the drill. Oh, you like that, right? Audience participation. You know the drill. David, I'm going to start with you this week. Cardinals and Patriots. Who wins this one?
Well, you know, historically, Bill has struggled against running quarterbacks, guys that can move and get outside the scheme. So that's what I'm going with right here. Kyler Murray is too good at that. I'm going to say 31-24. Some things you just can't scheme for.
Yeah, David, he was bad at it because he had Tom Brady and they never practiced against it. But now he has Cam Newton. So I'm assuming his defense practices against movement quarterbacks a lot more these days. So I got the Patriots winning this one 24-21 in a close one. I think it's too much Cam Newton. And I don't think we see Kyler Murray run as much as we think we're going to see him run.
Michael, the full government name. Wow, I am shocked. I'm actually going with the Cardinals 28-17. A little shoulder. That ain't nothing for Kyler. I think he's going to be just fine. All right, next game. David, it's the Raiders and the Falcons. Let's hear it.
I know you're probably going to be shocked here, but I'm going to go with the Raiders 30-17. They're playing really good football, even though they lost last week. Still like what they're doing. Todd Gurley's out. What are they going to do in the red zone? Probably holding the field goal, at least one. So I'm going to say the Raiders too much offense, and they start to figure out on defense a little bit.
Hey, look, I know you have a family contract you have to stand up for right now, and you are obligated to pick your brother's team, the Las Vegas Raiders, but I'm not. I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons, bro. You say no, nothing to do in the red zone? You know a guy by the name of Julio Jones? You know who Julio Jones is? Big, tall guy, runs a 4.3. Oh, he hasn't been a... Hey, Julio, you hear what David Carr saying about you? I know you watch Total Access. Get on him next time. I got Atlanta winning this one 35-30. You got him losing by that much, David? Come on,
Why you got to throw
David
David all the way under the bus like that? I don't have a family tie to the Raiders, but I do believe that the silver and black will prevail in this one. I have the Las Vegas Raiders 36-14.
Look at that score, Rob. 36-14.
I know. I'm a little rude. That was a little rude of me. My bad, my bad. All right.
Come on, MJ.
I said what I said. Last one, Chargers, Bills. David, you first. Who you got?
Hey, Imrov's really not going to like this one. Everything it says right now, pick the Bills. Okay, the Chargers are traveling across country. It's going to be cold. It's in Buffalo. And I would normally pick them, but I have 100 wins already, so I feel pretty confident that I'm starting to catch a girl MJ. So I'm going to say the Chargers because I really like Justin Herbert and his ability to keep pushing the ball down the field in tough situations, makes enough plays. They win this game by 1 point.
I like Justin Herbert, too. I think he does exactly what you just said. Push the ball down the football field, makes a lot of plays. But they don't win many games with him, DC. Come on, dog. You got to win the game. We ain't playing fantasy football. We playing real football. So I got the Bills in a close one, though. I got the Bills in a close one, 27-23. Yes.
You had to bring the record into this, huh, David? You had to go there.
I'm just saying, I feel pretty good.
Woo, he's been throwing that 100 around all all show long. I like it, though. I like it. He's a little chippy. I'm here for it. I'm so glad you picked the Chargers, though, because I'm going to keep that record going. I have the Bills 32-21 taking this one. This is my favorite segment of the week. Thank you, guys. We were just mentioning Justin Herbert. How interesting, because it's time for the Pepsi Rookie of the Week. And he takes it one more time. Justin Herbert leaves some for everybody else. This is the 7th time this season that Herbert has been voted the Pepsi Rookie of the Week, despite, like Emrod mentioned, his team's losing record. All right, after the break, we'll meet you at the corner of Pigskin and Probability, which is where you can usually find our friend Cynthia Freeland. 3 Sunday games, 1 Friday question. Will these games go high or low? The answer.
We'll let you know if the Bucs can keep up with KC. And Derrick Henry did it again.
Touchdown, Titans!
Fresh off another walk-off touchdown in overtime, Michael Irvin sits down with the NFL's leading rusher.
I cut back and seen the end zone, and it was 6 and game over.
And as the Cardinals look to bounce back in New England, DeAndre Hopkins opens up to Steve Smith Sr. about his first season in Arizona.
What kind of teammate has Kyler Murray been?
Man, he's been a great teammate.
All that and much more on NFL Game Day morning Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
You see who else is there. It's Cynthia Freeland. She's going to help us take a look at the numbers a little closer. School is in session. Everybody pay attention. Cynthia, back with us now. We're talking higher score or lower score. First up, Cynthia, Bears-Packers, higher or lower than 45 points?
I know it seems weird because it's Mitchell Trubisky and a great Bears defense, but this one's going to be higher. Why? Because sometimes changes force us to do what we do best, which is run the football. And the opportunity to run against the Packers means an opportunity for the end zone, both for David Montgomery and, of course, the Packers know how to score as well. So it's going to be a higher scoring game than that.
Oh, yeah. I'm on board for that. Next, how about the Saints-Broncos, higher or lower than 43 points?
Oh, man, this one's also going to be higher. Again, it's about doing what you do best, and that Saints offense is going to leverage both Michael Thomas and, of course, Taysom Hill's legs. Those legs score touchdowns, getting in the end zone, whether or not it's the quarterback on his feet or through the air, it doesn't matter. So it's going to be a higher scoring game than that.
So nice. He did it a couple times last week. All right, finally, Giants-Bengals, higher or lower than 42 points, Cynthia?
I wasn't sure about this one, and I triple checked the math, but you're going to want to start Daniel Jones. This one's going to go higher than that. Golden Tate, also a good start. You're going to have to go see why the rest of the reasons are on Game Day View, which is next. But ultimately in this one, it's going to be more points than you might imagine because there's no Joe Burrow.
Cynthia, I never check the math. I just trust everything you say. And you heard her right there. She's got her graphs. She's got a little nature and some glass realness waiting for you for Game Day View, which comes on right after NFL Total Access, 8 Eastern, right here on NFL Network. Cynthia, thank you. And we just mentioned the Giants. Members of the Giants were giving back over the Thanksgiving holiday. Several players made a contribution to a food bank for NYC's Community Kitchen and a pantry in West Harlem to provide Thanksgiving meals to those in need.
you.